it's often the case that I will want to make a really cool dyno, or like a run across, I don't know, something more like spectacular, I guess. And in order to do that, one of these jumps or cordo moves, you have to speed up the climber. And how you speed the climber up is something we can play with. It's like kind of like an endless well of how to make a climber go fast. Now the most traditional method, or I shouldn't say traditional, but the most simple method for speeding up a climber and getting those RPMs up is some combination of 2 volumes or 2 feet in a jug. Something that you can jump around on. So when I'm jumping around like that, I'm speeding myself up. Okay, and the prerequisite for that is space. So you'll notice it's not even just that this boulder is wide, but my backswing comes to about here, and when I hit this position, my foot lands at about here. This is a 16-foot wide wall. So if you have a 10-foot bay and there's other climbers, places like in a round or something, or on a set, you just can't use that much space. So what I wanna do today is take this boulder, which is big and open and like super flowy. I don't know, it's pretty nice. It's also pretty metal, and shrink it and talk about ways that we can speed the climber up by using a technique that has been called loading, or that's been called like binding the climber. But basically you get them in a position where there's so much potential energy in the position that as they explode, they already have the speed and you don't have to get them running first. So that was a bit of a mouthful, but I think you get the picture.
Load climber, go further.
Load. You can either heat them up by making them swing on a jug a bunch and then shooting across the wall for 10 or 12 feet, which is awesome and should exist. But you can also take the climber and shrink that position, but get just as much energy from the climber as if they were swinging around on a jug. So it's really important to have this ability when you're setting a comp where the bays are like 10 feet wide and everybody's in semifinals at the same time. So definitely really fun to play with. The first thing I did is I set it big. And I'll even do this on my own sometimes, like either just in a normal setting day or at some sort of event where, okay, I have this end position and I can speed the climber up by swinging around on a jug. Okay, I know that that works. It's probably not gonna be able to exist like this, but I at least kind of know how to get into this end position and what it's gonna take to shrink the boulder and make the start more complex and more loaded. So that's what we're gonna do. But first I have to do this move. So here's a bit of like Roy Kwan wisdom. I find that I tell a lot of people this about these weird jumpy moves that you never find outside. But you have this situation where you're in a launching position and then you have to land somewhere. And it's like, this is basically most dynos are like, you know, lower level cordo moves, I would say. Like not necessarily redirects apply, but anyway, you're in a position you have to jump into this other weird position. Maybe you have to run across some volumes or something, but I think you get my drift. And we focus a lot on this first position because certainly it's important, but we often lose what we need to do with our bodies in order to get into that last position. And what seems to help people is, it's like Mario. It's just like Mario. When you're like running around in the game, you know, there's like the green tubes. You have to like jump up and like go into the tube, you know, and he just always like aims at it perfectly. And the end position is like that tube. You want to like get into the pipe. So I always have to jump a little bit higher and like kind of think about where my chest or my hips are going to be rather than what my hands are doing. Hands are arbitrary. I don't even need hands. If all goes well, we won't need the ladder again. Okay, just gotta get over there. Just gotta get over there. That's all it is to it. Oh, it's very hard.
Dude, that looks insane.
It's big. For the gram. Just get a little higher here, boy. Oh, closer. I think I'm just gonna afford myself a little more time by flattening this foot. The nice thing about this, and consider this always when setting dynos, the majority of the momentum, it's about going across. And this is kind of like a run up, but even with full value, like you jump off of something and grab something and cut your feet and swing, it's always better to lean on the lateral side than the up side, because when we get to a situation where you just have to jump higher than everybody else, well, that's not necessarily asking who the best climber is. It's not asking who's the best at dynoing either. It's just asking how high can somebody jump, and to me, this isn't like a good question. So, like, the height between these two holds is actually like probably a little over a foot in terms of like longitudinal, in terms of altitude, you know? Feel me? When you wave your arms like this, it makes you more ready.
Yeah, it gets the blood to your fingertips. Yeah,
it's really good. Sometimes I do this too, you know?
Oh, just to spice it up?
You can do that. Mostly just this. If I don't do it this time, I'm gonna complain about conditions.
I was literally about to say it's not as hot as last time, but I think it is.
Okay. Oh, closer. I think I can do it now. Definitely full throttle. I'm kind of hitting it. I'm definitely hitting it a little far away, but I'm also hitting it like, I don't know, in this relation to my face. I would really like to be down here.
So you got to get more ups.
Yeah, I just gotta, that's like almost always the answer. There's few times when it's not. Those ones are hard. Yeah, like people forget that as soon as we start going to the side, there's like a gravity component. So like in our heads, we're like, okay, go over. So you just like run across. But as soon as you leave whatever was keeping you on the wall, you start going down. So you have to like compensate by going up. Okay. Just get, just more of everything. All right.
Dude, that was power.
That's gonna go. I think I need climbing shoes.
Holy shnikes.
I just want to go through the wall. These Oasis, the low volume, excellent slab running around shoes. Like pretty soft and bendy. So I've enjoyed them. This is it. I'm going to do the move. This is the one. This is the time. It's inside of me, this move. I am it and it is me. So will I abandon myself in this moment? No, I will not. That was for you. Oh.
Come on. Oh, so close.
I abandoned myself.
No.
Oh, there's the rubber streak though. I freaking planted, boom, and I went, boom. I guess we would know where we would want to put our volume. Starting to get jug rash.
Do you want to cool your hands off real fast?
Yeah. enjoy your air-conditioned climbing, gyms. Okay, thank God. Did you get that? Okay, sick. Now, what we're gonna do is instead of running all the way across the wall, we're gonna shrink it and make you pop into it from like a much closer space, but hopefully with as much intensity or electricity that it took to just barely grasp that one. All right, so here's the situation. You set the best boulder of your life, and then the person in charge tells you that there's a fall hazard on your start and you have to change it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna fix it, right? So, I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I've been there, and I'm sure that y'all have too. So how do you go from this cool swingy ding into the pommel to shortening that up, but still asking the question of jumping into this pommel? And I like to call this loading the climber. So we're gonna put them in a small position that's closer to the pommel end position. Try and take up a lot less space, but maintain that intense pop up into this pommel. Pop up into the pommel. So I'm gonna use what I have on the wall here. I might add like a jib here and there. But I'm gonna use what's on the wall to reconfigure this start to be something smaller, shorter, but just as explosive or nearly as explosive as swingy dinging on a jug. All right, so what I'm thinking is I'm gonna make them kind of run up into a toe hook catch, and there'll be a hold here. And so basically what that means is they'll be in a position where they're in compression between their right toe and their left hand, and if one of those two things gets released, there's like a bunch of potential energy that gets released. So the idea is that they'll run up into this toe hook and kind of just be stuck there, and they'll see that end position and they'll have to release the toe hook, jump, and pommel. So I've loaded the climber up with this toe hook. There's a lot of ways to load up a climber in a small space, like using a heel hook, instead of a toe hook, or you can also create a barn door. So like they're constantly fighting this barn door, and as soon as they come across to initiate the jump, they have to jump really hard, because if they come any further, they're just gonna trapdoor into the wall. So you create this energy in small spaces by making the starts a bit more interesting in various ways. So I'm gonna try running into a toe hook, kind of classic. But I want this as my toe hook because it's a little bigger. I'm gonna do a little flipperoo. Flipperoo.
Oh, just flip-flap it.
Just flipperoo. Let's play with this. Okay, first try?
First try?
First try, maybe, I don't know. It could get harder, but it worked. Like, notice my backswing over here was, I don't know, we can watch the footage, but it was like all the way over here. And I shrunk that to running straight into the boulder. Like, you don't have to run into it from over here where someone else could be standing. You're gonna run straight in, catch that toe hook, and you're really only moving your hips like a few feet. A couple's 2 and a few's 3. So it's 2 or 3 feet, which is not very far considering the move previously took like 14 feet. So I would probably tweak this to be a bit harder. Maybe this left hand is a little worse. I also might see how I can break it, but the point is that we're here, we've got something that is workable, and it does all the things we wanted in the first place. It just takes up a lot less space. So play with this, set a big one, and then tweak it into a small one. It's a really fun exercise. And like and subscribe, or dislike and unsubscribe. I'm just trying to say you're free to make whatever decision you want. I just have to say to do it. You have my permission to like and subscribe. So there you go. More route setting content. Tell us what you want. That would be helpful. Give us some feedback. Do you hate this? Do you hate me? All right, I'm out.